Welcome guys to this section where we will spend a little time in understanding the directory structure that we got in our Puckle project. So this is the project folder Docker Airflow Master containing few files and folders. Our focus will be mainly on some of the important files that we will deal with in this course, and we will see how these files fuse together and help us building our Airflow application. Starting with first is Docker file. This file is an important yet less relevant to us in this course. Docker file is a file which helps in building the image in Docker. In this file, we write down a set of instructions for Docker and it automatically builds images by reading those instructions. In simple words, you can say it is the file where the source code for an image is written. Though it is an important file, but since we are into Airflow, so we will not deal with this file much, as Docker file comes more under the Docker course and learning how to create it will be out of the scope. But still, if you want to get more information on it, then I have attached a detailed lecture of it in the bonus section. You can go and have a look on it. Anyways, moving ahead through the project structure, let us have a thorough look into these Docker Compose files. This is necessary because throughout the course, we will be adding more components into this file. So understanding the scripting of it is must. Open local executor. Going through this file, the very first directive is version. Version is pretty much simple. It basically specifies the Docker Compose file's syntax version. As of now, we are using 2.1. Next, we have list of services required for this Airflow application. For a very basic Airflow application, you will require a database and Airflow itself. So we have Postgres and Airflow images respectively. Guys, Airflow by default comes with SQLite database, which is only good for testing or debugging purposes. That's why Apache Airflow recommend using MySQL or Postgres as backend. Puckle has chosen PostgresDB. And please understand that this service key name, Postgres and web server, these are just user-defined names. You can name them the way you want, but make sure to name them with the relevant key of their image names. Coming under Postgres, we have Postgres image with its version. When run, the Docker Compose will pull a Postgres image 9.6 from Docker Hub and will load it locally on your system. Then we have some environment variables set for the service like Postgres username, password, database name, etc. Guys, these environment variables are passed into the Docker run command by itself, which saves us from putting these variables in the bash. The second service is web server. This image declarative will pull the Airflow image from the Docker Hub. For web server service, we have few more options other than the environment variables. First of that, we have restart policy. Docker Compose version 2 support restart policies. Restart declarative specifies if the Docker container should restart automatically in case if it stops due to any reason. Here it is set to always, which means Airflow container will always get restarted if the container stops. But by default in Airflow, restart policy is set to no, which never restarts a container under any circumstance. Next is depends on. This declarative sets a service as a dependency for this current container. So here we are informing Docker that this services container will depend on Postgres service to start. And next we have some environment directives that sets the runtime level options within this container. Like load example equals to n specifies not to show the Airflow example DAGs in the UI DAG list. Example DAGs are inbuilt DAGs in Airflow for learning purposes. We had set it to n, that's why you didn't see any examples DAG in UI. Then we have executor set to local, specifying that we will use local executor with this Airflow setup. We will discuss in detail what are the various type of executors you can provide. After that, we have volumes. Volumes directive is used to mount a linked path on the host machine so that the files and directories that are placed at the host can be used by the Docker container. So here what we are doing is we are mounting the local folder DAGs onto this Docker location. So Airflow will fetch all the DAGs from this container location, which again is mounted to this particular physical location in a drive. So whatever changes we make into local DAG will be automatically reflected in DAG file present in Docker container. I hope it is clear. Then is ports. Ports directive maps the container ports to the local host port. So this is the guest port and this is the host port. At last, we have health check directive. A health check directive indicates if you want a dependency to wait for another container to be healthy. So that's it for this compose file. We will keep on adding more services in it further in the course as we proceed. And guys, yes, this was for the Docker compose local executor file. Let's have a very quick look at the second compose, which is celery compose file. In here, same like local executor compose file, we have some services listed like Redis, Postgres, web server with their own versions. And it has some exclusive services with it like Flower, Scheduler, and some more. Alright, so guys, with this, we are now somewhat familiar with Docker Compose. Let's move on to see the remaining files in our project.